Good day, class 11. We move on to chapter 1, and the subtopic is procedures. The importance of public reason was emphasized in the mundane procedures of the assembly. Why were they called mundane? Because they were long drawn discussions. And mundane here means long, dull discussions. Now, to a common man, it may seem long drawn and dull. But this was necessary in drafting our constitution. There were 8 major committees on different subjects. Some were chaired by Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, Maulana Azad, and Dr. Ambedkar. Remember, these were not men who agreed with each other. Remember, we had done about the INC dominating the Constituent Assembly because they had 82 seats, 82% of the seats. Right? So, when people dominate, become the majority, we always have that thinking that the INC must have forced certain ideas and arguments on the Constituent Assembly. But we have the wrong concept. Again, I'm reading this out to you. I'm telling you that our concepts are wrong. Though Congress dominated the Constituent Assembly, there were men who did not agree with each other on many issues. Like Dr. Ambedkar had been a bitter critic of the Congress and Gandhiji. He criticized them for not doing enough for the upliftment of scheduled castes. Sardar Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru disagreed on many issues. So, what influence could the INC have on the Constituent Assembly? Well, one thing to be noted. Though there were so many differences, some of them criticized the INC. But what was so important about the Constituent Assembly? They all worked together. What did each committee do? They drafted particular provisions of the Constitution and were subjected to debate by the entire Assembly. This was an attempt made to reach a consensus that provisions agreed to by all would not be detrimental to any particular interest. Some subjects or provisions were taken according to vote, majority by vote. Every single argument, question or query or concern was responded with great care and in writing. The assembly met for 166 days over a period of 2 years, 11 months. Even the press and public could have access to these discussions. Therefore, we can say that there was complete transparency in drafting the Constitution of India. Inheritance of the nationalist movement. India had a diverse assembly. This diverse assembly could not have functioned if there was no background consensus on the main principles the Constitution should enshrine, should give importance. These principles were incorporated during the long struggle for freedom. The Assembly gave concrete shape and form to the principles it had inherited from the nationalist movement. For decades before the drafting of the Constitution, the nationalist movement had debated questions that were relevant to the making of the Constitution, like the shape and form of government that India should have, the values it should uphold, the inequalities it should overcome. Answers obtained in these debates were given their final form in the Constitution. The best of the principles that the nationalist movement brought to the Constituent Assembly is the Objectives Resolution. The resolution that defined the aims of the Assembly. It was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru in 1946. Based on this resolution, our Constitution gave institutional expression to these fundamental commitments: equality, liberty, democracy, sovereignty, and a cosmopolitan identity. Therefore, it can be said that our Constitution is not merely a set of rules and procedures, but a moral commitment to establish a government that will fulfill many promises that the nationalist movement put forward before the people of India. Next, institutional arrangements. A third factor which ensures the effectiveness of a constitution is a balanced arrangement of the institutions of government. The basic principle is that the government must be democratic and committed to the welfare of the people. A lot of time was spent on evolving the right balance among the various institutions like the executive, the legislature, and judiciary. Thus, a parliamentary form and the federal arrangements were adopted. These would distribute powers between the organs of government as well as different levels of government. When we talk about the different levels of government, I mean the center, the state, as well as the local self-government. The makers of our constitution learned from experiments and experiences of other countries. It is said that the makers borrowed certain principles from other countries. It is a testament to their wide learning that they could borrow any intellectual argument that was necessary for fulfilling the task at hand. But borrowing ideas was not a picture of imitation. Each provision was debated, discussed, modified, or amended so that it would suit and solve the Indian aspirations and problems. In conclusion, we pay tribute to the wisdom and foresight of the makers of the Constitution, that they presented to the nation a document that enshrined fundamental values and highest aspirations shared by the people. India's Constitution is a unique document which has become an example for many other constitutions. The main purpose for the slow pace was to strike the right balance so that institutions created by the Constitution would not be haphazard arrangements, but would be able to accommodate the aspirations of the people of India for a long time to come. Now, students, on page 20, if you have your books with you, you will find the main points of the objectives resolution. Go through the videos 2 to 3 times, subscribe and press the icon bell. And as I told you earlier, it will give me or it will inspire me to do better. We need your support. Read through the chapter, but just be a little careful when you watch the videos. Again, I'm telling you that if you're going to watch one video 2 to 3 times, don't do it one after the other. Do it with an interval, say around 1 or 2 hours, after which you can go through the same video again. One more thing to keep in mind is, I have prepared exercises for you, question and answers, as a guideline. I will get them made into the PDF form, and within 4 to 5 days, it will be uploaded on your school channel. You are to write the question answers in your fair notebook, registered type. And if you have any queries, you can contact me personally. Students, stay home, stay safe. You are losing, or you have lost and are still losing a lot of classes. Don't waste your time. Concentrate on your studies. And don't forget this. You are to show me your written work by the 14th of June 2020. Stay at home, stay safe, help each one to fight this pandemic.